Waka waka doo doo, yeah! My friends, it is not every day that I get to talk about legitimate Pikmin related news. It is, in fact, not very often at all, actually. It's actually pretty darn infrequent. If you haven't noticed, we don't get a lot of Pikmin projects, a lot of real, tangible, just right there in front of you, actual brand new Pikmin projects. Not a thing that happens very much. So I was delighted to see an announcement on Twitter. As I was enjoying my honey sesame chicken from Panda Express, Kane shot it my way, and I took a look at it. Guess what's happening? Okay, so, Niantic, the company probably most well known for creating Pokemon Go, is partnering with Nintendo. They want to make mobile games with Nintendo. Apparently the partnership with I think it's DNA, Dina. I'm gonna say DNA. Nintendo in 2015, they partnered with a company, DNA, to start making mobile games. They kind of dragged their feet on it a while, and then they said, okay, we're finally gonna do it. They partnered with them. They made a string of games, and basically none of them worked out the way that they were hoping. I think Animal Crossing Pocket Camp kind of eventually came around, and then it seems like the Mario Kart one is doing like kind of okay, but overall it's not what they were expecting at all. Whereas you look over there at Pokemon Company and Niantic doing Pokemon Go, mega crazy billions of dollars smash hit. And then of course, and then even Intelligent Systems did the Fire Emblem one, and that was making more than all of Nintendo's other apps. So the DNA thing just wasn't working out. I don't know where Nintendo stands with them specifically. I don't know if that's just done. It kind of sounds like it is, because right now they're moving forward with Niantic, which makes sense. Thing is, though, they decided to announce this new partnership by basically announcing a Pikmin mobile game made by Niantic. And they did this kind of weird. I feel like they're weird with their mobile game reveals. Like, you'd think they would want to come out with like a big trailer or something, but it seems like more often than not, they just kind of tell us it's coming. You know, I feel like just about all of them just kind of like, hey, we're doing this, so I don't know, look forward to that. It's like, okay, sure. I guess their mobile game stuff is different from the regular game stuff. Probably because this is a very big investor move. You know, it's a very big, like, make stockholders happy kind of move, just to let them know when it's happening. So with this announcement, you know, they didn't show us anything. They also didn't really tell us very much either. Basically, it sounds as though it is a Pikmin equivalent of Pokemon Go. That's basically all that we have. All the different tweets from all, you know, from Niantic, from Nintendo of America, and all that different stuff. Very vague, very just like, be it a Pikmin adventure, Pikmin friend, make Pikmin friends, they'll come on with you. Don't really know. The absolute best that we have is a quote from Shigeru Miyamoto, who said, Niantic's AR technology has made it possible for us to experience the world as if Pikmin are secretly living all around us. Based on the theme of making walking fun, our mission is to provide people a new experience that's different from traditional games. We hope that the Pikmin and this app will become a partner in your life. Yeah, that's what you would expect just from hearing a Pikmin game like Pokemon Go. You're looking for Pikmin, you know, finding little hidden Pikmin. It's even like the finding the Pikmin in a, you know, Super Nintendo world. They're really little, they could be hiding anywhere. I totally see that. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I don't know how it would function. Pikmin are very small. You know, it's not going to be exactly like Pokemon. How are you catching them? What are you going to do? How are you going to track them? The mechanics are not even almost the same in Pikmin and Pokemon, so it can't just be a direct, you know, it can't just be a Pikmin version of Pokemon Go. There's got to be more to it than that. And I don't know if this is just kind of the way he's saying it. He's like, he's acting like this is a new thing, even though what they're kind of describing or hinting at is kind of an old thing. We've seen Pokemon Go. The AR has been a thing for a while now. So, I don't know, making walking fun. Well, they kind of already did make walking fun with Pokemon Go, but they're saying it's a new experience, different from traditional games. I don't know, he's kind of pitching it as though we don't already know the concept, so that makes me wonder if there is just a different element to it that we are absolutely not even considering right now. I don't know, I think just like off the top of my head, as is probably the case with a lot of people, is that perhaps it will end up being something like the Pokemon, I did it. The Pikmin and the Pokemon. It's always been a thing for years and years, and I'm doing it. Then it might be like the Pikmin Park in Hey Pikmin. If you haven't played Hey Pikmin, the Pikmin Park, I almost said Pokemon Park again. It's just like a little area where as you gather Pikmin throughout the campaign, they go over to the park, and the more you have, the better. And they kind of like, I don't know, like mine. They kind of mine or like farm. They kind of like take away grass and break into rocks. You know, you use the different Pikmin types to get through the different obstacles, and they clear stuff away. And as they clear stuff away, they will reveal stuff. They'll reveal money or treasures or whatever. So it's kind of like a little background thing as you're playing through the game. I could definitely see that sort of thing translating over to, you know, you're walking around in the real world, you're finding Pikmin all over the place. And especially because, you know, there aren't that many kinds of Pikmin, whereas Pokemon, one big draw is just getting all of the Pokemon. I mean, you know, you got fighting and whatever and all that stuff, but at the very least, there's a very big collection thing, whereas with Pikmin, there are only 7 varieties of Pikmin, if you don't want to count, like, the odd ones, the mushroom and the bulbmin and stuff like that. So it sort of makes sense that you would be gathering an amount of them, you know, like as the more the merrier, like, oh good, I got my 50th red, and now they can go and do this and go little things. I'm not really sure. I'm not super well equipped to imagine every way that this could relate to Pokemon Go, because I did not play Pokemon Go. If you don't know, I became a smartphone adopter much later than most people. It was really only a few years ago now. So when Pokemon Go was a really big thing, I really wanted to get into it. I was so sad. I was so jealous that I just couldn't. I didn't have a smartphone, and everyone was having a lot of fun with it. By the time I got one, I felt like, it's already too late. So naturally, I'm really interested in this idea for more reason than it just being about Pikmin. I adore, absolutely. I mean, I've still been kind of tempted to get Pokemon Go just to see what's up. I love the idea of walking around and finding stuff. I mean, it's incredible. Like I said, I really wanted to play Pokemon Go. It's an incredible idea. I love walking, and you're finding stuff out in the world. I even said how I came up with that idea a super long time ago because I thought that idea was so cool. Just the idea of going in the real world and finding stuff. I love it. I want to do it. And it's with Pikmin. That's incredible. So naturally, we can't just look at the announcement itself. Can't just take it at face value. Arlo's got to look at what it could mean for the future and for the series. So I would say that generally with this kind of thing, when you get like a weird, unexpected little spin-off, there are 2 schools of thought. On the more pessimistic side, one could say that any project that is not the next game, because, you know, let's be honest here, that's the thing that I really want, that most of us Pikmin fans really want, is Pikmin 4. That's the big one we're waiting for. So there's the idea that with any series, you get the weird little thing, and it's like, oh, well, I guess that means we're not going to get the big thing for a while, or, oh, I guess they were focusing on this, or this is Nintendo throwing us a bone. They don't want to give us the full sequel, so they give us the weird little spin-off instead, you know what I mean? However, I am leaning more on the optimistic side, the second school of thought. This is a way to get people looking at Pikmin, playing Pikmin, paying attention to it, knowing what it is, learning what it is. And it's actually nice, this optimistic side has kind of more weight to it, because with a lot of Nintendo's mobile games, they have immediately preceded a full sequel. We saw it with Animal Crossing. We saw it with Fire Emblem. Not all of them. We did get the Mario Kart, and we have not gotten a brand new Mario Kart. It still could happen, but that, you know, it's not a steadfast rule or anything, but it has happened a number of times. They give us a mobile game, presumably, to kind of drum up interest and get people familiar with the series, and then they give us the full title later. This absolutely could be that happening again. They absolutely could be developing Pikmin 4 right now, and in 2021 we get this little app and they try to drum up some interest, and then in 2022 they give us Pikmin 4. Very much possible. But even if that's not necessarily what's going to happen, even if this is not directly leading into Pikmin 4, this is still Nintendo doing something with Pikmin. They're not giving up on Pikmin. They're trying to get people interested in Pikmin, and what better way than with the phones? You know, like the Switch only so many people have a Switch. It's a lot of people, don't get me wrong, but that is still a limited number. And you know, whoever wants to play Pikmin, you gotta, you know, spend $60 on it or whatever. This is a mobile game. This is huge. Pokemon Go made Pokemon even bigger than it already was. Pokemon was already massive, and somehow, Pokemon Go just exploded it even bigger than ever. That's probably one of the big reasons why Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee sold so incredibly well. Why Sword and Shield are like the highest selling games in the entire franchise for years and years, are probably going to end up being the very, very top ones. Because if you make a game that really catches on mobile, you reach a massive, massive, massive audience. No, unfortunately, I do not anticipate Pikmin reaching quite such a big audience. Pokemon already had so much momentum. It had so much power, so much marketing power and all that stuff behind it. It'd been a thing for so long, whereas Pikmin has always been a much more obscure series. So I don't anticipate it making billions of dollars and turning Pikmin into one of Nintendo's biggest franchises. But it's very, very possible that it will at least give it a significant boost. And really the thing about Pikmin is looking at the sales numbers, I don't think it's ever been a massive failure. I think it's just been an underperformer. It's just not done the numbers Nintendo was hoping for. I know really early on with the very first game, Shigeru Miyamoto was saying, Pikmin's gonna be the next Mario. So he had some pretty unrealistic expectations. But beyond that, it doesn't feel like Pikmin needs that much more to start being profitable. You know, like each game sells 1 or 2 million units. I feel like if you could just bump that up a little bit, bump it up another 1 or 2 million, it's gonna have a much higher priority for Nintendo. So that's why this is such a good thing. This could make the difference. This could be the thing, the singular thing that makes Pikmin, that raises it up above obscurity and turns it into even a modestly performing series for Nintendo. Even that would be awesome. That would make it such a higher priority. That would make them so much more incentivized to make more games. I will say it is a little unfortunate that Nintendo is not poised to receive an influx of new people who are interested in Pikmin. With Pokemon Go, there were 1 trillion Pokemon games across just a ton of platforms, and then, you know, only a few years after Pokemon Go came out, you had Pikachu and Eevee, now you have Sword and Shield. Pokemon has always been available and accessible to everyone, and other mobile games, games just like everywhere. There's Pokemon everywhere. It's hard not to get into Pokemon. It's the easiest thing in the world, just kind of trip and fall into it. Pikmin is not the same. People play this game, they go, oh, this is great. Where can I play the Pikmin games? Where I want to start from the beginning. Where can I play Pikmin 1? And Nintendo goes, nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. You want to buy a GameCube at a yard sale? That's the best you're gonna get. Oh, but at the Switch, I'll buy a Switch. What Pikmin game can I play on the Switch? 3. Just 3? Okay, I mean, that's pretty cool. You know, people do it. But that is disappointing. However, this is the anniversary of Pikmin. 2021 is the 20th anniversary of the Little Pikmins. And it is very much a possibility that Nintendo will prove me wrong here and they will release some sort of Pikmin collection, or at least just, you know, one or just something. They could release the Pikmin games and that could be great. And that could be it. And this could be the gateway. Maybe this could be a herald for that as well. Not even just the Pikmin 4 is coming, but that we're gonna get all the Pikmin games. I'm certainly not going to get my hopes up, but it would make financial sense. It would make business sense for Nintendo to do something like that. Give us a Pikmin Classic collection or something like that, or just 1 and 2 separate. Who even cares? Just give us the Pikmin. People are going to play the Pikmin on the mobile. At least some of them, at least some amount of them are going to want to get on their Switches and play the other ones. However you look at it, this is a very, very, very good sign for the series, and I'm very excited about it, especially when you combine it with the little hidden Pikmin in Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World is really just Mario World. I know they're going to be installing like the DK area, but at least like so far, it's really basically just Mario, and yet, if any other series has a presence in Nintendo World, it's Pikmin because they hid the little Pikmin all over the park. The idea of hidden Pikmin is already kind of a thing. And so you combine that with this app, this is a push. This is a push for the series. Technically, it might not be. Maybe this is just Shigeru Miyamoto getting his way. He's just like, no, put Pikmin in the park. I love Pikmin. Put him in the park. Make a mobile app. But I have to assume that there are greater intentions here. This is Nintendo trying to keep the series alive, trying to do something with it, which is awesome because obviously they've, had some series that they've just kind of abandoned because sales were low or they just ran out of ideas or whatever. But not Pikmin. It's happening. It's frustrating going so long without a proper sequel. Until we get that sequel, it's not going to feel like the series is really doing what it could do. Like, it's not really moving. It's not really quite healthy. But this is, it's a step in that direction. It's a step in only a good direction. I will close out by saying, unfortunately, there is definitely a little part of me that is slightly worried about what this mobile product might end up looking like, because of what Pokemon Go looks like. I mean, it's a really cool idea. I personally am not a big fan of a lot of the directions they have gone with the various ways the game is monetized. I think it is downright gross a whole lot of the time. Yeah, pretty just gross. So there's like part of me that's like, okay, what if I get it and I get super hooked on it and then it turns out I gotta spend a bunch of money on loot boxes if I want to get any further, because I'm not into that. I'm not into that whatsoever. Don't like the loot boxes, not one single bit. So it's possible. However, on the other side though, you want to spin it in a good way again, this is Niantic. It's not Pokemon Company. When you look at Nintendo versus Pokemon Company is the one that's making a lot, the more gross decisions, especially in terms of monetization for their products and stuff. So with Pokemon Go, I don't know how much of that is Pokemon Company, how much of it is Niantic. For all we know, Nintendo will have a completely different monetization strategy, which is possible because they've done a lot of experimenting in their games with DNA. But then at the same time, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp started to do better when they introduced loot boxes. So I don't really know. I'm trying to stay positive there. I'm trying not to get too worried about it, and until I absolutely have to. Whatever the case, though, a Pikmin mobile game. We're getting it. It's funny because I have spent many years now wishing Nintendo would make mobile games for their their lesser known series, because I'm like, okay, well that's a good way to get people known about it. And of course, specifically Pikmin. I wonder what mobile Pikmin game could be like, and it's very exciting, and it's kind of felt like Nintendo didn't really want to. They started to make me think they only wanted to do mobile games for games that were already kind of big, or at least already kind of had an audience, the Mario Kart and the Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem, the things that were already growing. It didn't seem like they were interested in making mobile games for series that were kind of in stasis, kind of in limbo. But they're doing it now. This is like I said, this is something I've been thinking about just for years now, and it's awesome to see them do it. And this partnership with Niantic, this is the first of many games. So, I mean, they've already done a lot of their major series, a lot of their major franchises. So I have to assume that we might be getting some other ones too. Maybe we'll get an F-Zero. Maybe we'll get some more obscure stuff. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Kirby. There's still a lot of potential, but I could fill an entire video just talking about what other mobile games they might make. All that matters right now, literally the only thing that matters in the entire world right now, is that we're getting a Pikmin one. We're getting a Pikmin one. Okay, well that's that. It's late at night. I'm recording this. My voice is really tired, so I'm gonna go just be excited that there's a Pikmin game coming. It's coming later in the year. We don't know exactly when. We don't know anything. Just gotta put your email in the thing and kind of wait and see. Let me know down in those comments what you think about this Pikmin mobile game. And that's that. That's that. It's a Pikmin thing. It's a brand new Pikmin thing. It's happening. It's a mobile game. It's not Pikmin 4. I don't care. It's a Pikmin thing. I'm so happy. Have a good day. Goodbye.